Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Those of you who have been yesterday at my talk, thank you for coming again. My objective in this very short talk today is basically to plant in your mind two thoughts. Two thoughts that I believe are important, not only because they can significantly improve your business, but also because, in my mind, retailers that will not adopt what I'm going to say will simply not survive the future, not be able to operate in the dynamics of reality that are ahead of us. I hope you would agree with me. The first thought is that it is possible for every retailer, it is possible to significantly get much more from what you have, to boost sell-through by 20% at least, which means sell more with your current merchandise, if only you will manage your operation a bit differently. And the second thought that I would like you just to think about it is that the way to get much more from what you have is by understanding that the methods and the systems and the tools that you're using for planning, for forecasting, and we should, of course, try our best to do forecasting. These methods, these tools, we should not apply the same ones to manage our execution. My father, who created the theory of constraints, which is a methodology that we are applying with retailers around the world, said that forecast is wrong the moment you write it. Yes, we need obviously to do our best efforts when we do planning, when we do forecasting. But then, if you assume that because you put so much effort and you have so sophisticated algorithm, whatever, that because of that your forecast in terms of which products will sell, where and when, because of that your forecast is accurate, my friends, you're fooling yourself. You should actually assume your forecast, despite all your best efforts, will not be accurate, that there will be a big gap between the actual demand for specific products at specific locations on a specific date and your planning. And the more your operations will depend on the accuracy of the forecast that you make, the less successful you will be. In other words, do the best forecasting, but then build an operation that is very agile, very flexible, knowing that your forecast will not be accurate, knowing that you will need to adjust very quickly with as much flexibility as possible your merchandising as reality unfolds. So the rest of my presentation will basically just share with you why I claim so strongly. But these are the two conclusions I would like you to get out of my speech. So as I mentioned, we are applying the theory of constraints, which my father developed, written in the book The Goal, that I assume some of you have read. The essence of the theory is that even though reality is very complicated and a lot of different factors and elements that interact and impact each other, we should take a step back and understand the cause and effect that governs the flow of operation, the flow of goal unit production, if you want, and understand where are the key constraints, these limiting factors that really dictates our ability to get much more from the system. And once you understand where these constraints are, and you focus your attention to exploit these constraints better, you can get much more output from your current system with your current resources. Now, why do we claim it's possible in retail to get much more from what you have? Because of the following fact. If we take fashion, for example, fashion retailers on average are left with 15 to 25% of unsold inventory. I speak with hundreds of managers around the world. I ask them, forecast accuracy, is it getting better? Because you have better IT tools and you have more data to learn from. I've never heard anyone that tells me that accuracy is improving. Actually, we have this phenomena. By the way, if you are left with less inventory, it's probably because you significantly marked down your inventory closer to the end of the season, which has a bit of an impact on our margin, no? So I gathered some titles from business magazines from the last year or so, just to show to what extent this is the case. For example, around 30% of all clothes made around the world are never sold. Now, this is not just a business problem, that's a global problem. Okay? About $50 billion a year of waste just from the US in textile. Okay? 92 million tons of textile are discarded every year. It's like a full truckload dumping unsold clothes every second during the year. Okay, so we better give some thoughts why we are left with so much surplus inventory. And can we, if we adopt a different operation system, can we sell it? Is there a way to get, is it simply bad products that you cannot sell, or maybe we can do something about it? Okay, if we take fashion retail, at the beginning of the season we have the fast movers, that's the green line you see here. And we have some products that turns to be slow movers, that's the red ones, and we have new products that we introduce. Then during the season, what we sell, what we don't sell, we cannot sell, so the slow movers share is accumulating during the season. You continue to introduce new product according to whatever space or budget that is available for you. And then as the season progresses, we are basically clogged with more and more unsold products. Now, this is the key to understand whether you can take this problem and understand that it's not only a problem, it actually represents a huge opportunity for you or not. You need to look at these leftovers and ask yourself one question. How many of these are really bad bets that we have made, products that we can't sell? And how many are actually products that we could have sold at normal prices, if only we had them at different locations at different times? In our experience, much of these tail products, these slow-moving products, and it's simple to see with data, if only you had them at different stores at different times during the season, you could have sold them. These are not bad bets. And why do we see that? As I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, it's happening because we still rely too much on whether or not we got our plans correctly. We assume that we have done good enough job in plans, and then let's just run the season. But there are three dynamics that are happening in any industry that significantly deteriorates the accuracy of the forecast that we have to make. And these three dynamics are here to stay. They are not going to go away. And they are coming from consumers' expectations. And I think all of us will agree that if we want to succeed, we need to meet consumers' expectations. Each of these expectations deteriorate the accuracy of the forecast that we have to make. The first one we call consumer personalization. Consumers are becoming more and more sensitive to get a product that fits their individual desires and tastes. Would you agree that they are more picky, more choosy? How does this impact retailers? We want to sell more. Consumers are more picky, more choosy. It's not uniform. This puts pressure on us to operate with wider range of products. Agree? I just overheard a speech in the hall of a lady that is having an eyewear brand, and she was asked, how many glasses you have? And she said, oh, I already have 30. And the one next to her said, I have 10. Okay, the consumers are having more range, we are offering more range. Now, as you see the loop here, as we operate with wider range of products, we are actually increasing the sensitivity of consumers to find a product that meets their individual desires and tastes. Do you agree? They are more aware of what is available at the marketplace. They become even more choosy, more picky, and we have to respond to these expectations. We are not operating alone. Therefore, we cannot just reduce the range of products. Make sense? Now, I'll ask you a simple question. What is the relationship between the range of products and the accuracy of our forecasts? When we work with a wider range of products, is it more accurate or less accurate? Much less. Because a lot of the range is slow-moving products. I can do a fairly good, accurate forecast for the highly repetitive fast mover, but for the slow mover, Who knows when the consumer will come and where to buy it? So forecast accuracy will not get better. The second dynamic starts with consumer expectation, which we call tolerance time. How long consumers are willing to wait to have the product available. Let me ask you, what happened to consumer tolerance time over the years? Is it getting shorter or longer, stays the same? Are they willing to wait more, less? Much less. And they are much less willing to wait. And when tolerance time is 0, if you do not have the product in front of the consumer when he wants to buy, you lost the sale. You can tell him to go to another store or you'll have it next week, doesn't matter. No. It's not always equals 0, but it's reducing. Now this puts pressure on retailers to hold more inventory and to spread it, to hold it closer to consumers. When we have to spread the inventory, we can less enjoy the aggregation power, to aggregate the variabilities. What happens to the forecast accuracy when we spread the inventory? Obviously, it deteriorates. And the third consumer expectation, which I'm sure a lot of you know, is that product life cycle, how long products are available in the marketplace. Product life cycle is reducing significantly. More collections, more frequent new model introductions, to the extent that consumers form another expectation, which we call newness. Consumers expect to find new stuff in the store. Make sense? And when consumers expect new stuff, it's put pressure on retailers to introduce more frequently new products. New products means 0 history of consumption to learn from. More than that, if these products are successful, they disrupt the rate of all the other products which I came to learn about their consumption rates. Kiss goodbye accuracy of forecast. Most new products are not the next iPhone or the next Harry Potter book. So you may want to argue that these expectations will go away. I don't think this will be the case. They are here to stay. And therefore, we will continue having the pressure to operate with wider range, to spread the inventory and hold more, and to increase frequently the introductions of new products, which means do the best forecast you can, but it will not be accurate. And now the whole point is, can we operate in a different way? Can we operate knowing that the forecast will not be right? This means that we need to read very quickly the demand signals from each SKU in every location and react as quickly as possible to these signals in terms of how much stock to keep, to increase the target, to reduce the target, to increase the range, to reduce the range, to increase new products in the category, to reduce. The more flexible we're able to do it, the better the operation will be. The more you will prepare for the future. The better you are able to do that, the better you are able to prepare for scalability, for healthy growth. Because when you are adding more and more stores, all of you are more experienced even than I in operating retail. When you're adding more stores, you know very well what happens to inventories. Okay, so it's all about the agility and the flexibility to react. If you would like to know what is the solution of theory of constraints to enable retailers to do that, you are welcome to our booth here in OneBit. OneBit is the platform, the tool that we are using to enable retailers across the world, across industries, to get 20% increase in sell-through, to reduce the surplus inventory, not for cost avoidance. Yes, of course it's a big benefit, but that's, for us, it's much less than knowing that this surplus inventory you reduce it because you had it at the right place and you are able to sell it. I hope I increased your curiosity to learn more about TOC and OneBit. Thank you very much.